Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Here we are with the Trackmaster Sim Series at the Myrtle Beach Speedway for the season opener for the second season of the Trackmaster Sim Series. Last season, they were at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. This season, they're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to go to 2 tracks rather than just 1, so we'll split up 8 races between Hickory and where we are tonight, Myrtle Beach Speedway. Right now, these guys are getting the drivers' meeting underway, going over all of the rules and procedures for tonight's race. We've got about 23 cars on the property. Right now, 19 have taken time. But we've got a lot of big names throughout the field as you look on the left side of your screen. At the top of the board, Tanner Bethay, a little bit quicker than the rest of the field. Everybody else in the 6s and 7s back behind. Brandon Elvis back behind him. He picked up a couple wins last season. Ended with 3 on the first season. 2 spots back. Christian Peterson, the guy that finished second in points, picked up a couple wins as well. Your champion from last season, Jonathan Adkins, is also with us here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. But a lot of drivers here tonight ready to chase after the checkered flag. It's going to be a fun season. The schedule is out. I don't have it up on my stream just yet. Let me go ahead and throw it up there for you guys, but it's a fun little calendar. It's meant to replicate a Saturday night short track style summer season. We're going to see a couple different races with different lap counts and such. But yeah, if you guys go to racemrl.com/TMSS, you can view the schedule there. We've got 100 laps here tonight, opening up this season. Next week, it'll be 150 laps at Hickory. That one's going to be one to watch. Hickory, always a fun track, especially in the late model stocks. Then we go to we have twin 75s the week after, back at Myrtle Beach. Then a 200 lapper to close out the first half of the season at Hickory. That one's going to be a fun one. 200 laps, there's going to be a lot of strategy involved. Do you push your car early? Do you save the car? Going to be fun. The same going to be said for tonight. These guys don't have a set of tires in the pits, so they've got to make this set last for all 100 laps. Brian Grable getting his final practice efforts in that Cottle chassis number 22. Samuel Fontaine in the 77, also getting those final preparations in. Currently sitting 12th on the board with an 1882. But the field pretty close throughout, only 4/10 all the way on back. You know qualifying is going to be tight, and you know the race is going to be tight. But it's all going to be about who can make the car last the longest. Brandon Atkinson up in front of them. Behind Jason Dalton, everybody just trying to get their car dialed in, trying to get that last little bit of speed out. RJ Williams in the 21 machine going to the second spot right at the end of practice with an 1865. Speed we hadn't seen out of RJ throughout the beginning of practice. He might have put the Q set on there to get a little practice run in before it was all said and done. So it's now time to qualify here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. These guys are going to be given 2 laps to lay down their best qualifying time. First up on the Speedway, the Cottle Chassis, WD Broadcasting Network, number 51. That is Justin Mulliken making his qualifying run down the back straightaway. The talk in chat before the race was, is qualifying going to be lap 1 or lap 2? We're going to find out right here. As Mulliken comes across, he'll take the white flag. 1882 on the first lap. Let's see what he can do this second time around. Up and out 3 and 4. Mulliken holds that top spot, but it's going to slow it down on lap number 2. Next up on the racetrack, the driver that sat top of the board throughout practice. He goes to the top of the board in qualifying, an 1860 for Tanner Bethea. Can he pick it up here on lap number 2? And it looks like he's going to shut it down after lap 1. He'll call it good there. Bethea goes to the top spot. Brandon Elvis second in the 4 machine. Brian Grable now on the racetrack in the 22. See what he can do in qualifying. Working that first lap, he's going to take a big run out of 3 and 4 to try and get as much speed built up as he can. First lap time for Grable, an 1883, put him 7th quick. So we'll see what he can do in 3 and 4. Drives down to the bottom. He'll drive up out of the corner. Checkered flag for Grable, second lap time. Bump him up to second quick, and 1864. A little bit quicker than Brandon Elvis in that 4 machine. RJ Williams jumps up to the 3rd spot in the 21. Things get exciting here. Ooh, Williams sideways off of 4. Probably going to slow it down that lap, but first lap time for Williams at 1866. Good enough for 3rd quick. Brandon Elvis sits 4th. Tony Mong sits 5th in the 92. And it looks like everybody has wrapped up their qualifying efforts. A couple drivers electing to not take a time just yet. But we've got some heat race action coming up. It's going to be exciting. Let's see if we can't grab a word from our fast qualifier. Alrighty, folks, up into the broadcast booth, we've got Tanner Bethea, your fast qualifier here tonight. Tanner, what's it feel like to sit top of the board at such a stout field? We have 23 cars, 19 took time, but you're fastest of all 19. How do you feel?
I felt pretty good. It's definitely a good start to the night, starting on or qualifying pole. So it means there's some speed in the car. That definitely a good momentum to head into night.
Yeah, it's definitely good to start off on the pole. You're going to be sitting pretty for heat race number 1, and you'll have 10 laps. Kind of going to be a little mini practice session here to see how that car feels. What are you expecting with 100 laps of feature racing later on?
considering we don't get an extra set of tires, I think that it'll all be a pretty much a strategy race on who can keep the tires on it the longest. But maybe we can keep it on there and try to come out of this thing with a podium.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tire-saving game. Myrtle Beach notorious for eating up the tires, so we'll have to see how you guys can handle the tires throughout the run. But nonetheless, congratulations to you, Tanner, on your pole here tonight, and we wish you luck throughout tonight's events.
I appreciate it, man.
Yep. Alrighty, folks, that was Tanner Bethea, your fast qualifier here tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup for heat race number 1. On the pole, it's going to be that 20 machine of Tanner Bethea. To his outside, it'll be the 21 of RJ Williams. Tony Mong will start third in the 92. And it's going to be Christian Peterson in the 71 to his outside. Chris Smith rolls off on the bottom of row number 3 in the 80. Then to his outside, it'll be the 77 of Samuel Fontaine. Frank Barbary in the 26 going to roll off 7th. And then Justin Elvis to his outside in the 54. Brian Sutpin in the 9th spot in the 33. Then Bryce. Apologize if I mess this up the first time. I'm going to have to practice this one. But Bryce Degawa Vera in the 29. And then back behind them, it's going to be Brandon Atkinson and Justin Coleman. 12 cars bringing us to the green. You see your starting field there awaiting the iRacing.com pace car. Looks like we're still waiting for one driver to pop in. But it's going to be a fun little heat race. I don't think we're going to have to worry about a transfer spot here tonight. I think everybody will start the show. But starting position definitely going to be key in this 100-lap race. You're going to want to keep that car towards the front, because if you have to pass a lot of cars late, you have to eat up those tires, it's going to hurt you before the race is over. As the field pulls off down the back straightaway, they're going to come straight to the green flag. And we will have 10 laps of heat race action. Actually, it looks like we won't come straight to the green. So we will get the one to go signal. Race control wasn't quite ready to send those guys green. So they'll get the one to go signal right there. Tanner Bethea, RJ Williams going to bring us to the green. Christian Peterson, Tony Mong, row number 2. But who wins heat race number 1? Tanner Bethea was quick in practice. RJ Williams as well in that 21. But who stacks up where on race pace? Everybody can lay a lap down, but who's going to be there at the end? We're about to find out. Pace car makes his way down into turns 3 and 4 to the safety of pit road. It is in the hands of Tanner Bethea and RJ Williams, and for the first time this season, we are green in the Trackmaster Sim Series. Down into turns 1 and 2, Tanner Bethea on the bottom side of the racetrack and a peek ahead by just about a nose down the backstretch. He will lead into turns 3 and 4. Williams going to try to get back in line behind him. Tony Mong right there in the 92, a little bit of contact. Williams up the racetrack. Tanner Bethea going to lead lap number 1, but RJ Williams struggling up there on the top side. Tony Mong to the 2nd spot. Chris Smith now fighting for 3rd underneath Williams. They hold each other tight down into the center of the corner. Williams up top, Smith down low. Williams trying to keep the gas into it. Here comes Christian Peterson as well in the 71. Oh, back behind, Justin Elvis goes around up into the outside wall. It looks like the green flag will stay out. But contact early out back for Justin Elvis. We have 7 laps to go here in heat race number 1. Bethay's got about a 5-car length advantage down the back straightaway, but we watch the battle for the 4th spot. Christian Peterson able to get by RJ Williams right there, and finally that 21 machine able to get back down to the bottom lane. The top side definitely not going to be the place to be, especially early on in the race. But we'll keep an eye on it as the track gets a little bit more rubber into it and things progress a little bit later on. Christian Peterson looking to the inside of Chris Smith. That's for the 3rd spot. Smith on the outside. Watch down into the corner. Smith able to get the drive off right there. He'll hold the spot at the line. We've got 5 to go. Looks like the outside in 3 and 4 can be a little bit better. But 1 and 2, it's just so hard to keep that inside car pinned without killing your momentum as well. So Smith trying to hang on the outside. Peterson going to have an advantage across the stripe. Here comes Chris Smith with a crossover move. He'll dive back to the bottom and try to fight for that spot. So we now have 2 laps to go. Timing and scoring is bugged a little bit. We'll try and refresh that. But Tanner Bethay leads down the back straightaway. And he'll come out of turns 3 and 4 to take the white flag. 1 more lap to go. Actually, I apologize. It's not 1 lap to go. It's 4 laps to go. These are 15-lap heat races. And nobody told me. Anyways. Okay, I guess I was wrong. I don't know what's going on there. Checkered flag is out, and Tanner Bethay leads. Timing and scoring often plays games with me, especially when we have heat races, and that's, I think, what's going on here now. But heat race number 1 has concluded. Tanner Bethay picks up the victory. RJ Williams, or sorry, Christian Peterson second. We'll get the results up on screen from heat race number 1. Tanner Bethay, your winner. Tony Mong comes home 2nd. Christian Peterson 3rd. Chris Smith 4th. RJ Williams comes home 5th. Brandon Atkinson 6th. Samuel Fontaine 7th. Frank Barbary 8th. Brian Sutpin 9th. Bryce De Guevara 10th. Justin Elvis 11th, and Justin Coleman rounds out the field. Unfortunately, did not make the start of that one. But we will now have 11 cars bringing us to the green. Here in heat race number 2, Brian Grable going to roll off on the pole in the number 22. To his outside, it'll be the number 4 of Brandon Elvis. Then Jared Duda in the 53 going to start 3rd, with Trevor Ward in the 16 to his outside. Justin Mullican in the 51 going to roll off from the 5th spot here this evening. Then Richard Parks going to start 6th in the 113. Ty Dennis in the 11 going to start 7th in heat race number 2. And to his outside, rounding out row number 4, is going to be the 2 of Jason Dalton. Joey Leducer in the 23 going to start 9th. And Jonathan Adkins, your champion from last season, going to round out your 10 cars starting field. John Lyday, unfortunately not able to make the grid. So we will have 10 cars bringing us to the green. The field gets the 1 to go signal. And down into turns 1 and 2, it's going to be Brian Grable and Brandon Elvis. And if you watched the Grand National Pro Series race on Monday night, you saw a little bit of this duo already having a battle. Five Flag Speedway and the ARCA car, those two battled all night long and put up a heck of a race. Definitely recommend watching that one back if you haven't got a chance to see it already. But nonetheless, heat race number 2 about to begin. Through turns 3 and 4 and into the restart zone they go. We are underway. Down into turns 1 and 2. Brian Grable gets a good jump. But Brandon Elvis right there in the 4 machine trying to make the outside lane work. Down the backstretch they go. Grable going to lead into turn number 3. Elvis doing a better job up on that outside lane. He's going to try to make the momentum work. Leader of lap number 1 going to be Brian Grable in the 22. But Elvis not done fighting just yet on that top side. Grable down to the bottom in 3 and 4. Everybody trying to rubber in that outside lane. It could be useful later on, as we're seeing right here. Elvis working that outside lane. Not quite able to drive up to Grable just yet, but definitely letting him know he's there. As we have 7 laps to go across the stripe in heat race number 2. Elvis finally going to fall back into line right there. He'll try to crossover move, but nothing going to be able to come from that. Didn't have the run quite built up off the corner. As B. Grable in the 22 leads down the back straightaway with 6 laps to go. Everybody single file throughout the field just about. Jonathan Adkins in the 17 trying to work his way forward. Started this race out back in the 10th spot. Underneath Jason Dalton right here for the 9th position. Everybody going to make the show in tonight's feature event, so these positions don't matter for the transfer, but if you want to start closer to the front, you've got to work your way to the front in the heat race. Richard Parks looking to the inside of Justin Mulliken down there in turns 1 and 2. Looks like Mulliken going to be able to hang on for now. Everybody looking a little bit sketchy on corner exit. We've seen a couple cars graze the wall. They are really using up a lot of this racetrack. So here comes Justin Mulliken to the inside of Trevor Ward. Ward, I think, got up into the outside wall down the front straightaway. That's going to open up the door for the 51. Oh, and there's contact. Mulliken into Parks, it looks like, up off the corner. A little bit of contact through the center, and around goes Parks. In the center of turns 1 and 2, the caution flag flies. Jonathan Adkins, your champion from last season, also goes around. He'll get that machine pointed back in the right direction. A little bit of damage on the front end of that race car. 2 laps to go. We'll have a green-white checkered finish here in heat race number 1. So let's take a look at what happened down into turns 1 and 2. You saw the contact up off the corner. Let's go ahead and scroll back a little bit and try to find that contact up off the corner. You see it right there. Looked like the 51 might have just gotten tied up off the corner, shot up the racetrack. The 16 was just trying to hang on, and then it looked like up in front of them, Richard Parks and Jonathan Adkins made a little bit of contact. So caution flag flies for the first time, but did not last very long. These guys already getting ready to go back green, and it looks like we are green. Through the restart zone they go. Brian Grable, Brandon Elvis into the loud pedal. And down into turns 1 and 2. 2 laps to go in heat race number 2. Grable leads by about a car length with Brandon Elvis right back behind. And look at the Hornets nest back here. Joey LaDucer way up on the top side making the run work. He's going to try to get around Trevor Ward right there. Up front, though, 1 lap to go. Final time down the backstretch in heat race number 2. Brian Grable going to go to the inside lane to block off any run from Brandon Elvis. And up and out of turns 3 and 4, Brian Grable going to hang on and win in heat race number 2. Brian Grable picks up the win in heat race number 2. Brandon Elvis comes home second. Jared Duda third. And And during this warm-up session, we'll look at our results from heat race number 2. Up on screen, Brian Gravel picks up the victory. Brandon Elvis second. Jared Duda third. Justin Mulliken fourth. Ty Dennis fifth. Joey Leducer sixth. Richard Parks seventh. Trevor Ward eighth. Jason Dalton ninth. And Jonathan Adkins rounds out your field in the 117. So now it is warm-up time. These guys are given 3 final minutes to prepare and get everything ready to go for 100 laps of feature racing. Caution laps will count this season, something different from last season. Caution flag laps will count. But it'll be interesting to see who has speed at what point in the race. So the open setup really gives a lot of different opportunities for a different kind of race than when everybody's on the same car doing the same thing. There's a lot of room to maneuver when you're on an open setup. You can build the car to your liking, make it drive a certain way, and often it creates for a lot better racing because people are a lot more comfortable behind the wheel. The invert, I've just received word from race control. The invert tonight will be a 10. So the starting grid will look a little bit wonky. But our starting grid will basically be reversed from what's on screen. These guys are going to have to re-line up on the racetrack before we throw the green flag. So race control's got a lot of sorting out to do once we get to that stage, but everybody just getting their final preparation in. But the invert of a 10 is going to put Ty Dennis on the pole. He'll have RJ Williams to his outside. But the way things go here in the Trackmaster Sim Series, you're going to qualify, and then you have your 2 heat races. Odd numbers in the first heat, even numbers in the second heat. That's going to line up your row for the feature, and then they have an invert after that heat race. So a lot of shuffling to try and get some different drivers thrown in throughout. It also gives a little bit more of a challenge for the guys that have a lot of speed to try and drive through the field, but also take care of your equipment. It's going to be a battle tonight to do both of those things. But the field makes their way to the starting grid. As right there is your field beginning to make their way onto the starting grid. Go ahead and get the grid pulled up on the pole. It'll be top to bottom, bottom to top, going opposite right here. Ty Dennis on the pole in the number 11 machine. He'll have RJ Williams to his outside. Starting third, it's going to be Justin Mulliken in the 51. Rolling off from the 4th spot, the number 80 machine of Chris Smith. Row number 3, it's going to be Jared Duda down low in the 53. Then Christian Peterson to his outside in the 71. Brandon Elvis going to roll off from the 7th spot. And then Tony Mong to his outside in the 92. Brian Gravel, winner of heat race number 2, going to roll off from the 9th position. And then winner of heat race number 1, Tanner Bethea, going to roll off from the 10th spot. And then back behind, the rest of the grid looks about normal. We'll be able to see everybody in the normal spot if the grid would shuffle. There we go. Brandon Atkinson in the 15 going to roll off 11th, and Joey Leducer in the 23 going to roll off 12th. Row number 7 going to be Samuel Fontaine down low, then Richard Parks up top in the 113. Starting 15th, it's going to be the number 26 of Frank Barbary, and then Trevor Ward in the 16 car will roll off 16th. Brian Sutpin in the 33 going to start 17th with Jason Dalton in the outside in the number 2. Bryce De Guevara in the 29 going to start 19th. Then Jonathan Adkins in the 117 going to start from the 20th spot. Then back behind, rounding out your field, it's going to be Justin Elvis in the 54, John Lyday in the 22, and Justin Coleman in the 14. As the field is just about ready to roll off, when you see them pull out of pit road, they're all going to reassemble and get in the proper starting order. But Ty Dennis and RJ Williams going to roll off from the front row, and we've got 100 laps of action on tap for us here this evening. Looks like we'll be sending 21 cars to green. John Lyday and Justin Coleman, unfortunately, not able to make it. So we will have 21 cars bringing us green for 100 laps. Gonna be fun. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of different drivers trying to charge to the front. Everybody going to shuffle around, get in their proper starting positions. Your top 10 are going to invert here as we begin to open up the first feature race of Season 2. 100 laps here tonight, 150 laps next week at Hickory. That one's going to be a fun one for sure. Hickory is one of my favorite tracks. Kind of an unpopular track, at least in my friend circle. Not a lot of guys are a fan of Hickory. I enjoy Hickory. I like the way it drives. I like the way you have to be very patient on both the throttle and steering. Definitely creates a challenge for the drivers, so that's going to be a fun one to look forward to next week, especially 150 laps of action. As the field gets the 1 to go signal, we are just about ready to send them green. Down the back straightaway they go. Oh, we didn't send them green. Thought we got the 1 to go signal. Typically on iRacing, it's 2 laps and then green. So I did not anticipate that extra lap, but we're going to do an extra one. As Ty Dennis and RJ Williams get ready to bring us to the green. Justin Mulliken, Chris Smith in row number 2. Jared Duda, Christian Peterson, row number 3. The field makes their way down the back straightaway for the final time under yellow before the start of Season 2. As the pace car makes his way down pit road, it is in the hands of Ty Dennis and R.J. Williams through turns 3 and 4. The green is up, and the green is out. We are underway here in Myrtle Beach. Down into turns 1 and 2. Ty Dennis holds the early advantage. R.J. Williams able to quickly get back into that second spot. And And into turns 3 and 4 for the first time. Everybody trying to get settled in as quickly as they can. Your front three single file, but leader of lap number 1 going to be Ty Dennis. RJ Williams, though, wasting no time in the 21. He wants to go to the front quick. He charges to the inside, down the back straightaway. Williams fighting for the lead. Through turns 1 and 2, Chris Smith on the outside of Justin Mulliken for the third spot. Looks like Smith going to take that spot away. A couple of cars looked like made a little bit of contact on corner entry that time. I think Joey LaDucer got up into the outside wall a little bit. Oh, Ty Dennis up the racetrack. We're 3 wide down the front straightaway. They were 3 wide down the front stretch. I think everybody's able to hang on to it. But everybody aggressive here early on, trying to get as much ground made up as they can. There's Brandon Elvis down there on the bottom lane in the number 4. Battling with Tony Mong for this 5th spot right now. As we are 5 laps in out of 100. RJ Williams, your current race leader. Here comes Justin Mulliken to the inside of Chris Smith. Mulliken taking a peek back for the 2nd spot. And oh, Brandon Elvis, trouble out of turn 4. Did not catch what happened to the 4 machine of Brandon Elvis, but he spun to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see what happened here. Looked like the 92 of Tony Mong just came off the wall, and there was nowhere for the 4 of Brandon Elvis to go up off the corner. Locked it down. Luckily, it didn't look like he made too much contact with the inside wall, but definitely going to be a setback back to the 21st position. We'll go on board and see what the 4 machine saw. Yeah, you see the 92 right there just across the racetrack. Nothing Elvis can do but lock it down and hope that you don't hit the wall too hard. Everybody else able to continue on. We are under caution for the first time. Elvis bringing the 4 machine down pit road, likely to get some of that damage fixed on the front end. I'm not visibly seeing any damage, but looked like maybe the left front of that race car a little bit crinkled in. Elvis a quick trip down to pit road, and he'll be back out, and he'll stay on the lead lap. RJ Williams took the lead on lap number 2 from Ty Dennis, your pole sitter. Dennis right now back to the 10th spot. Sorry, the 11th spot. But under caution for the first time here tonight. We are going to be 8 laps in when we get back around. But RJ Williams currently showing the way. He's actually live right now as well, if you want to see his perspective of this race. We've got 2 visuals of this 21 machine here this evening. You guys can tune in to his cockpit cam for the entire 100-lap race over on his channel. But the white flag is given to these drivers. Pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. And it's going to be RJ Williams, Chris Smith, Justin Mulliken, and Jared Duda, your top 4, leading us to the green. As they bring them up slow through turns 3 and 4 into the restart zone they go. And we are back underway. Good start there for the 21 machine down into turns 1 and 2. Battle back behind them. Brian Grable trying to take over the 4th spot from Jared Duda. Justin Mulliken right there as well. Duda up into the wall. It's going to open up the door for the 22. It looks like Grable will take that spot. Christian Peterson going to try to follow suit in the 71. And it it looks like if you're up on that outside lane and kind of get stranded up there, it's very hard to get back down to the bottom. As here comes Brian Grable underneath Justin Mulliken. Looks like Mulliken not going to put up too much of a fight there. And this is a driver that we're going to have to keep an eye on now throughout the night. Brandon Elvis in that 4 machine, involved in that first caution flag. He's gained 2 positions already since the drop of the green, but he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to be back where he was when he spun. As our top 3 begin to settle in here, Chris Smith running in the 2nd spot in the 80 machine. He's got a good view of RJ Williams from his cockpit right now. This gives you a good visual of what these guys are going through here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. A very interesting line down into turns 1 and 2, to say the least. Everybody does it a little bit differently is one thing I've noticed. Smith and Williams look a little bit almost even. You saw the gap that Smith was able to close right there on corner entry. That's what I meant by the interesting line that Myrtle Beach has. You can really charge that corner entry or back it up and try to get the run off. Because right now, though, here comes Brian Grable to the inside of Chris Smith. Grable wanted to take over that 2nd spot. It looks like he will do so. Move Brian Grable to 2nd. Here comes Chris Smith trying to look back to the bottom. But Grable able to keep the door shut. Five-car breakaway out front for the lead. Tanner Bethea, your fast qualifier and winner of heat race number 1, has not made up too much ground here in the early stages. Still in that 11th position. But he did fall back from the rear. He was scheduled to start 10th after the invert. He elected to go to the rear. So Bethea coming from the back, currently in the 11th spot. Another driver to watch out for, your defending champion here in the Trackmaster Sim Series, Jonathan Adkins. He started this race in at the 20th spot, already up into the top 10. Running behind Samuel Fontaine right now in the 77. Up front, RJ Williams in the 21 has got a mirror full of Brian Grable and Chris Smith. So we are 21 laps into this one. And if you're RJ, you really like this right now because you got to control the pace, and if you're the leader and they're all stacked up behind you right there, it's going to be hard for them to pass you without getting past. So Williams in a good spot right here, holding that top spot. Jonathan Adkins in the 70, or in the 17, getting underneath the 77 of Samuel Fontaine. And oh, Joey Leducer into the outside wall there into turns 1 and 2. He's going to lose that spot to Jonathan Adkins, move Adkins up to 8th. There's Tanner Bethea, who we just talked about as well, waiting in the wings. Look a little bit further back, Brandon Elvis, he's moved up a couple positions since we last looked, currently running 16th in the number 4. In the 20 machine, gets underneath Joey Leducer right there, and now he's going to look under Samuel Fontaine into turn number 3. Fontaine able to get the run off, and he'll be clear down the front stretch. With the 20 machine of Tanner Bethea, definitely looks like he has a fast race car here in the early stages. Just past a quarter of the way through this one. RJ Williams has led from lap 2 on. He's got Brian Gravel back behind him in the 22. And then Chris Smith, Justin Mulliken, Christian Peterson, your top 5 right now. We've got a pretty lengthy green flag run going here. After that first incident, a little bit further back, here comes Richard Parks underneath Joey Leducer. No, Leducer up into the wall again on corner entry. Looked like there might have been contact that time. Jason Dalton and Justin Elvis battling for the 14th spot. Here comes Brandon Elvis in the 4 machine down to the bottom. It looks like Brandon going to get around little brother Justin on the exit of turn 4. He'll now set his sights on Jason Dalton in that 14th spot. The 4 machine looks very fast, but he's still got a lot of ground to make up. We've got 70 laps to go, just about. And up front, it is still RJ Williams leading. Christian Peterson battling with Justin Mulliken for the 3rd spot. Looks like Mulliken going to give that position up. Christian Peterson goes to 3rd. Now Chris Smith trying to take over the spot from Mulliken. And oh, there's contact there going into the corner. Smith did not like the door being shut right there going into 3. Mulliken in the 51 goes up the racetrack right there, not able to hang on to the outside door of Chris Smith. Now Brandon Atkinson in the 15 underneath the 51, and Mulliken looks like he's struggling a little bit with that race car. Shut the door on Chris Smith, but was not able to hold that outside lane. Now he moves back to the 6th spot. Jared Duda underneath trying to take over that spot as well. Move Mulliken back to 7th. Up front, RJ Williams continues to hold the race lead. 37 laps into this one. We've still got a long way to go. Not quite halfway. And there's a lot of excitement left to unfold. Who's saving their stuff right now? Who's pushing their stuff right now? The question on everybody's mind. One driver that I know is pushing a little bit is this guy right here, Brandon Elvis in the 4. Back up to the 13th spot. But he's definitely going to have to put a little bit more effort into that car if he wants to drive up through the field, especially right now with the green flag laps that we're getting. You hope for a caution, but if you don't get one, you can't let those guys get too far out. Battle right here. Oh, contact. There goes Samuel Fontaine around on the exit of turn number 4. He's going to try to get it back going, and the caution flag flies. We were just talking about it. Ask and you shall receive. The caution flag flies. And we're going to re-rack them and re-stack them. Let's see what happened once again to Samuel Fontaine. You saw it up off the corner battling with Tony Mong. It looked like the 92 maybe just got a little bit loose, or don't know what happened there. But here is the pass up off the corner. Let's go a little bit further back into turn 3. Watching from the drone camera right here, it looked like the 92 just came up a little bit and got into the 77 of Fontaine. And around he went. Luckily, everybody else able to avoid. But the caution flag gonna fly for the first time here tonight. We have 20 cars on the lead lap. Joey Leducer down pit road in the 23 machine. Able to get back out, and he'll stay on the lead lap. But now the caution flag flies. We're going to have to re-rack and restack this front field. RJ Williams, who's had the lead from lap number 2. He's now going to have to fend off Christian Peterson, Brian Gravel. As we continue to make laps under caution here. Caution laps are counting this season. They did not count last season. As RJ Williams elects to choose the outside lane. Williams going to take the top spot here. And we'll see what kind of restart he is able to get. The pace car makes his way down to pit road once again. We're going to send him back green flag racing just shy of halfway. 44 laps in, 56 laps to go through the restart zone. We're back underway. A good jump there for RJ Williams in the 21 machine. Brian Gravel able to slot into second. Here comes Christian Peterson fighting for third. Chris Smith up top trying to hold that outside lane. You can do it, but it's definitely a little bit tougher as Smith gets the run down the front straightaway that he needs. We'll see if Chris Smith is able to hold off Christian Peterson right here, but it looks like that 71 is strong on the bottom. Further back, Brandon Elvis working his way up inside of the top 10. Underneath, Richard Parks right here trying to take over the 10th spot. He's got Justin Mulliken in the 51 right up in front of him. And the yellow flag flies. We've got trouble in turn number 3. Frank Barbary and Bryce De Guevara, a little bit of contact in that corner. We'll see what happened between the two. It looked like it happened up in front of him. Frank Barbary and the 11 of Ty Dennis made a little bit of contact. Let's check out what happened there. Go on board with the drone again. The 11 of Dennis down low, the 26 up top. It looked like the 26 might have just came off the wall the slightest little bit. And that was enough to send him around into the corner. One more look at that. Here it is down into the corner. You see your leaders going by right there. Down into the corner, the 26 comes across the racetrack. There's contact. Luckily, I don't think it was too big of contact, and I think everybody's going to be able to continue on. But the caution flag flies. We had a quick yellow there. Quick little heat cycle. Only got a couple laps in, if that. As we will pass the halfway point under this caution. And if you're one of those guys outside of the top 10 right now, you've got to move forward quickly on this restart, because once we get past that halfway mark, the laps are going to tick away very, very quickly. So RJ Williams going to take that top side once again. It worked for him on the last one. We'll see if it works right here again. Brian Grable down low. Row number 2, Christian Peterson and Chris Smith. But through the restart zone they go. A good launch that time from RJ Williams. And we are back underway. Down the back straightaway they go. Williams with a good advantage. Going into the corner, battle for the 4th spot. Jared Duda and Chris Smith. Up off the corner, Smith on the outside, Duda down low. It's been a tough go for that 80 machine. Whenever he gets a good run going, he'll get shuffled up to the outside. And that is not where you want to be. Brandon Elvis up to the 9th position. Up in front of him, Tanner Bethea, your fast qualifier, taking a peek to the inside of the defending champion, Jonathan Adkins. That's the battle on track for the 7th spot right now. Both of these drivers have tried to come from the back. Up inside of the top 10 here, 55 laps in. We've got a battle brewing for the 2nd spot. Brian Grable in the 22, under fire from the 71 of Christian Peterson. Looks like Grable going to be able to hang on for now, but the 71 is definitely looking racy there in that 3rd spot. And the yellow flag flies. The 29 and the 26 tangle again in turns 1 and 2. Richard Parks brings the 113 machine down pit road. What happened to Frank Barbary and Bryce De Guevara? There's the view up off the corner. It looked like the 29 just got up into the wall off of 4 and came off right when the 26 was right there. There was nothing Frank Barbary could do. And tough break for the 26. 2 cautions in a row. Those 2 tangled. Just wrong place, wrong time. But Williams probably very happy with the way that car is handling at this moment. I'd pop him in here, but he is on stream, so I don't want to break his rhythm. But he's going to choose the bottom lane this time. We'll see if he's able to get that same success from the bottom. He got a big restart last time. Work their way through turns 3 and 4. RJ Williams, Brian Grable get ready to lead us through the zone once again. And we're back underway. Good start there from your top 2. Once again, Grable going to be able to get clear for the 2nd spot. And here comes Chris Smith to the inside for 4th. A big move to the bottom. Jared Duda in the 53 going to have to defend on that outside lane. But Smith wanting to fight back here. Knows that the laps are running out. We've got 40 laps to go. And oh, there goes the 15 of Brandon Atkinson. Big pile up in turns 3 and 4. A lot of cars collected. Jonathan Adkins, your defending champion. Brandon Atkinson, Justin Mulliken. And a big mess in turns 3 and 4. What happened? Looked like the 15 machine. Oh, just contact from the 4 of Elvis. And nowhere for a couple of those drivers to go. We'll watch this one more time. We'll try and go from the drone to see if we can't get a good view of what exactly happened. But here is the view down the back straightaway. You see the 15 of Atkins and the 4 of Elvis. Looked like Elvis might not have been happy about the 15 coming down the racetrack in such a manner. And a lot of cars collected. Justin and Elvis turned around the wrong way right there. Let's watch what Brandon Elvis saw there in the 54, or sorry, in the 4. That's on board with Brandon Atkinson, actually. A huge mess in turns 3 and 4. So far, up until that point, everything was mostly single car, couple car spins. But that one was definitely the big one. Many cars collected. And that's definitely going to take some out of the race. Brandon Elvis down pit road. He's got damage on that race car. He's a couple laps down. Brandon Atkinson as well. As we get ready to go back, green flag racing. RJ Williams back to the outside lane this time. As he and Brian Grable will lead us through the restart zone. Through the zone we go. We're back underway. Another good restart from the 21 machine. Brian Grable in the 22 going to try to fill the gap for a second. But here comes Jared Duda. He's got a head of steam down the back straightaway, trying to take away third from Christian Peterson. Battle for third. Christian Peterson right there in the 71, and the caution flag is back out. Not sure what happened there. But the caution flag flies once again. Oh. Skip the replay there. Let's go see it one more time. Looked like up off the corner, the 26 of Frank Barbary. He is at a tough going today. But let's try and see what happened up on the exit. It looked like there might have been contact with the 29 again up off the corner. Man, looked like the 29 of Bryce De Guevara kind of blinked in and out there. I just don't know if the 26 saw him up off the corner and there was contact, which made the 26 check up, and everybody else was right there, nowhere to go. You're full throttle at that point in the straightaway, and there is absolutely nothing you can do. As we continue to pace under caution here, we have 16 cars on the lead lap. RJ Williams has led from lap number 2 in this race. And he has been lights out on these restarts. We'll see if he can do it again. Elects to restart from the outside lane. It's worked pretty good from the outside lane so far. Grable hasn't been able to get the best start on the bottom. As the pace car makes his way down pit road, we're going to see Who's able to get the jump this time? And Williams is going to go nice and early that time. And the green is back out. Big jump that time from RJ Williams. And he is going to have a full head of steam through turns 3 and 4. We'll lead by a couple car lengths down the front stretch. Battle for the 9th spot. Or sorry, the 10th spot. Joey Leducer up top. Tony Mong down low. We're just shy of 25 laps to go. Williams trying to hang on, but Brian Grable in the 22 machine just set the fastest lap of the race. '22 machine trying to track down your race leader, RJ Williams. We've got 25 laps to go. .24 laps to go here for RJ Williams. Back behind them, Tanner Bethea in the 20 machine, trying to work his way back forward. He's up to the 4th spot here. Does he have anything left for your top 3? As Brian Grable tries to track down your leader, RJ Williams. Williams in the 21 has been able to keep the 22 back behind. But Grable is right there. Does he have anything left? 22 laps to go. Williams up the racetrack a little bit there. Kind of lost the nose on the corner entry. And here comes Brian Grable and Christian Peterson. Peterson's right there trying to make a run on the outside lane now. Williams has got a mirror full of both competitors. There's Grable right there in the 22. He's going to have to defend that outside lane, but that kind of makes it easier for RJ Williams in the 21. He likes what he's seeing back behind, coming back to 20 laps to go. As Christian Peterson down the backstretch. Looks like he's making that outside lane work. He's able to get a good run through the center. Grable just isn't able to keep the throttle down on the bottom lane. We have 19 laps to go. RJ Williams trying to hang on. He's got to run and hide now. That 71 machine looks very quick. But can he get the job done? Tried to cross over underneath Brian Grable right there, but nothing came from it. And don't look now, but there's Tanner Bethea, your fast qualifier right there in the 4th spot. Bethea trying to work his machine back forward. Started out back in this one. So right now he is 21st to 4th. Let's see if he can make his way onto the podium. He looks pretty quick here in these final stages. So you can see the 20 machine right there. Not very far behind the 71 of Peterson as they work through turns 3 and 4. 15 laps to go. 15 to go for RJ Williams. They've got a gap opened up now. 4-car breakaway for the top spot. Grable's starting to track down the 21 machine though. Look at the lap times that last time around. looked like Grable was just a little bit quicker than your race leader, RJ Williams. 21 to a 25. Grable trying everything he can to move up and pass that 21 machine. Williams loose up off the corner. What can Brian Grable do? He's going to have to set up the pass here. Big run down the backstretch for Brian Grable. Grable going to try and take a peek to the inside. Williams going to shut the door. RJ Williams trying to hang on here, coming back to 12 laps to go, and it's now a 4-car battle for the lead. Christian Peterson and Tanner Bethea are right there on the back bumper. The 22 of Grable trying to get a good run up off. There's nearly contact there from the 71 of Peterson. But who is able to get the most drive up off the corner? 11 laps to go here at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. RJ Williams trying to hang on. He's got a mirror full of Brian Grable, Christian Peterson, and Tanner Bethea all trying to take over. Into turn number 3, the flagman hanging out the flag stand right here. 10 laps to go, both hands up in the air. Here comes the 22 of Grable, peeking to the inside. Brian Grable trying to take over the top spot. RJ Williams up top. Does he have anything left to defend? Grable down low. Williams up top. There's a little bit of contact. Williams up the racetrack. Here comes Peterson. Peterson to the bottom of Williams for second. Move Christian Peterson to second. Brian Grable, new race leader on lap number 91. Williams not done fighting just yet. He's trying to take over that second spot once again. We've got 8 laps to go. And now Brian Grable is going to have to play the defense. He's going to have to try and keep that 71 machine behind him. Peterson looks very fast, but here comes Williams once again looking to the inside. 7 more times around for Brian Grable trying to pick up the victory. The battle is on now for that second spot. RJ Williams down low, Christian Peterson up top. Tanner Bethea waiting in the wings, trying to find which lane's going to go first. Bethea thought about 3 wide there, up off of 4. He's definitely got a fast race car, but does he have enough time? We've got 6 laps to go. Williams and Peterson battle for second. Down into turns 1 and 2 once again. Williams on the bottom trying to make the most out of that inside lane. It's very tough to make it work here in the later stages of the race. It's hard to get that car to drive up off. Now here comes Tanner Bethea. Williams starting to peek ahead, and this is exactly what Brian Grable wanted to see, with 4 coming back to 3 laps to go. And the caution flag flies. Justin Elvis turned around the wrong way in turn number 2. Ty Dennis sitting up in the outside wall as well. Not sure what happened there, but the caution flag gonna fly here with 4 laps to go. It looked like Mongo in the 92. You saw the 92 machine of Tony Mong just get a little bit sideways, and there was nowhere for Justin Elvis or Ty Dennis to go on board with the 54 machine. Luckily, everybody able to avoid. They were kind of stopped in an awkward spot there up off the corner. But let's see who is able to walk away with this one. Brian Grable, after a tremendous effort, was able to get around RJ Williams. But is he going to be able to hang on? There's a lot of laps on these tires, and we're going into overtime. Who's going to be able to take the victory? We're going to have a green-white checkered finish here. Brian Grable, your leader. RJ Williams, second. Christian Peterson, third. Tanner Bethea, fourth. Who is it going to be? Pace car makes his way to the bottom side of turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Brian Grable, RJ Williams waiting for the restart zone. And we're back underway. 2 laps to go at Myrtle Beach. Williams able to get down into the second position. A little bit of contact there through the center of the corner. Peterson going to go to the inside lane. Down into turn number 3. Christian Peterson fighting for the second spot through 3 and 4. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go. Final time around for Brian Grable. Grable trying to hang on down the back straightaway. Williams going to hang on to the second spot. Battle for third into turns 3 and 4. But up and out of the corner, it's going to be Brian Grable picking up the victory in night number 1 of the Trackmaster Sim Series. And everybody's swerving to avoid a couple of accidents at the end there. But Brian Grable picking up the victory. He went 2 for 2 this week. Picked up the victory Monday night in the Grand National Pro Series. He's going to pick up the victory tonight in the Trackmaster Sim Series. Brian Grable going to turn that car around, and he will drive it to victory lane. RJ Williams comes home second. Tanner Bethea third. We will grab a word from our top 3 finishers. We will start with our third place finisher, Tanner Bethea. We'll see Tanner Bethea up into the broadcast booth. You get a copy.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, Tanner started out back in this one after the heat race, went to the rear, drove that machine up to the third place spot. Looked like might have just ran out of time and kind of got stuck behind RJ and Christian there at the end.
Yeah, I kind of made a wrong call, just going straight to the rear. Then somebody threw some money up, and I can't ever let down on a bet. So yeah, we just made a wrong call. I made a wrong call on gear before the race started, and I just had no end of the straightaway speed, so that kind of eliminated the top for me. If we were side by side, I couldn't hang around on the top. So yeah, I mean, overall a really good race. Brian and RJ drove a great race, being in control that long of the race. So congrats to them, and looking for more.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run to start the season for you. Still came from the back all the way up to third, so definitely passed a lot of cars here tonight. Who do you have to thank for a podium to open up the season?
I would like to thank Caudle Chassis. Everything they do, Josh Caudle, he helps pretty much with anything you would ever ask for. RJ and Brian for testing and helping out and being good teammates, and just my family.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Tanner, on your third place run here tonight, and we wish you luck next week at the Hickory Motor Speedway.
All right, man, I appreciate it.
Alrighty, now to talk to our second place finisher here this evening. Try and grab a word from RJ Williams. RJ Williams up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I'm with you.
Alrighty, well, RJ led many laps here tonight. Got the lead taken on lap 91, but you led somewhere 91 minus 2, that's about what, 89 laps you led here at the Myrtle
Your
Beach
math is
Speedway?
mathing. Your math is mathing, yes.
So 89 laps led, just not quite enough to hang on there. It looked like Gravel might have had a little bit more drive there at the end.
Yeah, he's definitely turned better and had better drive. I made myself too tight there. I mean, it felt good there at the start. I wasn't pushing it too hard. When Brian got to me, he was on my bumper, but I wasn't gonna fall apart with him back there. But he definitely had the better car at the end, and it showed. Had to race Christian there pretty hard at the end to get second spot back. But all in all, good night, good showing for the grassroots racing global Call Chassis Pontiac Firebird.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run for the 21 machine here tonight. You guys all battled very closely there in those final couple laps. Walk me through that battle with Christian. You guys were both at different points. You were on the top, he was on the top. You were on the bottom, he was on the bottom. How was that battle, and how did you manage to keep that 21 machine at the front when it mattered?
Well, drove the shit out of it. That's for sure. There wasn't no lack of effort there. I was just way too tight. Like I could hear them pick up the throttle, and I knew I was waiting that heartbeat to get back to it. And I just there that last like when I was kind of raced with him there. When I was underneath him at the start, I just could not get back to the gas like him, and I just forced myself to figure out a way to at least get back to it at the same time he is. And I was a little bit better in 1 and 2. He's definitely better in 3 and 4. That's where I was the tightest. I can get through 1 and 2 pretty good, pretty decent for the tightness I had. But I just drove the tires off of it.
Yeah, and that was the talk all night long coming into this race was you got to keep the tires underneath of it for all 100 laps, but still a good run for the 21 machine. Anyone you have to thank for a podium here in the opening race of the season?
Well, thank you for putting on this wonderful broadcast. We sure do appreciate it. Got to thank old Mr. Cottle at Call Chassis. I had a Call Chassis 123 here tonight, so hooray for that. Jack's out in my chat. Hey, Jack Bailey, my best friend, my hero. Other than that, great night. Good job to Brian. Good job to Tanner for driving back through the field. Get him next week at Hickory, my home track.
Yeah, I was going to say you definitely have next week circled on your calendar. I do too. Hickory is one of my favorite tracks, especially calling from the booth. A lot of exciting moments, and there's never a dull moment. So, nonetheless, congratulations to you, RJ, on your second place run here tonight. 89 laps led. Hopefully you can have a good run next week as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yep. Alrighty, that was your second place finisher. And now to talk to our winner here tonight. We started 2 leagues this week, and this man right here up in the broadcast booth, Brian Gravel, has won them both. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Alrighty, well, Monday night we started in the ARCA car at the Five Flags Speedway. You were able to park that machine in victory lane. Tonight, a little bit different story. Won heat race number 2, had to come from the back after the invert, or had to come from 9th, drove that machine up to the second spot, sat behind RJ for quite some time, and you guys battled out late there at the end. Ultimately, you were able to get the better of them just by a little bit and pick up the first victory of the season. How do you feel?
Feel really good, man. I just knew I was better than RJ, center off, and it was getting there close to the end, and, people get antsy at the end, so I was anticipating some cautions, so I was like, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and make my move because Christian Peterson, he was really good entry to center. So I knew he was going to beat me in. I didn't know if he was going to try to get under me, so I tried to make the move on RJ. Me and him made some slight contact. I don't think anybody was at fault there. That was just good, hard racing. And I was able to get around him and stay out front and get a good start on that last restart and bring it to victory lane.
Yeah, you definitely made the move when it mattered the most there in those final 10 laps. And you were able to lead the last 9. But a great race here tonight, similar to what we saw on Monday night. Kind of just patient, and then you showed up there at the end right when it mattered. And you didn't lead as many laps as you did Monday night, but there was a lot of competition, especially in the front of this field. The battles up front were real all night long, and you were able to get ahead of all them and pick up the victory. So a good run for the 22 machine. Once again, who do you have to thank for another victory?
Definitely want to thank the Cottle Chassis team. Caught chassis 1, 2, 3 here tonight. Absolute amazing set right here. I mean, this had to be one of the best late model sets I've ever drove. And I want to thank Oliver Motorsports, the WD Broadcasting Network, the paint booth part of that network, Napa Auto Parts, Oliver Motorsports, and Scrub Out Cancer. And I'd like to thank RJ for the good race there at the end.
Yeah, you guys definitely put on a show, and there was a lot of good racing throughout the field. But nonetheless, congratulations to you, Brian, on your victory here tonight. We go to Hickory next week for 150 laps. Do you think you could back it up and go 2 for 2?
I'm gonna have to definitely get in some laps there at Hickory. It's been a little bit since I've ran Hickory in one of these cars, so I think I'm definitely gonna have to get some seat time around that place and figure out what I need to do. Definitely know I got good speed there. It's just going to be about saving is what I'm worried about. It's definitely a tricky place to save tires at.
That it is. Me and you have ran a couple races there. I ran the super late model tour there, and I can tell you that the tire fall off is not going to be your best friend. It's going to be your worst nightmare. So definitely need some practice laps in there. I'm sure me and you will work on it throughout the week. But congratulations to you, Brian, on your victory here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. Brian Gravel, your winner here tonight at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Let's take a look at our final finishing results. His results up on screen. Your winner, Brian Gravel, in the number 22. RJ Williams comes home second. Tanner Bethea comes home third in the 20 machine. Christian Peterson fourth in the 71. Jared Duda fifth in the 53. Sixth place was Chris Smith in the number 80 machine, then Justin Mulliken in the 51. Jason Dalton comes home 8th, then Jonathan Adkins 9th. Samuel Fontaine rounds out the top 10. Joey Leducer 11th, Richard Parks 12th. Frank Barbary comes home 13th, Justin Elvis 14th. Ty Dennis 15th, Brandon Elvis 16th. Tony Mong 17th, Bryce DeGuevara 18th. Brian Sutpin 19th, Brandon Atkinson 20th. And rounding out your field out back is Trevor Ward in the 21. In the 16. But that is going to do it for us here tonight, folks. We've got some exciting races coming up next week. We have the the Grand National Pro Series on Monday night. ARCA cars at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And then next week with the Trackmaster Sim Series, they go to Hickory for 150 laps right here, all on the WD Broadcasting Network. So an action-packed week ahead of us next week as well. But thank you guys for tuning in to tonight's Trackmaster Sim Series season opener at the Myrtle Beach Speedway. I am your host, Winston Deal, and I'm going to be signing it off until about next Monday. We'll see you guys then. Peace out.